Welcome to Backyard OASIS, a podcast designed by and for older adults living in the beautiful Pioneer Valley of Western Massachusetts and produced in the tech studios at Greenfield Community College in Greenfield, Massachusetts.
Hi, I'm Denise Schwartz, your host. So there I was in the middle of a project, thinking hard about the next sentence, when one of those terrifying pop-ups burst onto my computer, screaming in flashing type that my device had been infected with the newest and most vicious virus and instructing me to click on the link below to make it all go away. Now, this had happened before, and so I knew it wasn't real. But then again, what if it was? And holy moly, what should I do? But this time, I knew what to do because I had recently met with a digital navigator who showed me how to demolish that pop-up box and any that dared to come along later. He also helped me organize my thinking about the thousands of photos that live on my device, and he gave me tips on how to declutter my phone. And I made an appointment to see him again because I knew he could help me build the skills I need to solve digital problems on my own. And then, if I can't do that, I know he's just a phone call or a walk-in meetup away. My guest today is Rich Vaden, a digital navigator, educator, and technology trainer. And I had the pleasure of meeting him recently. Rich has helped nearly 1,000 older adults build digital confidence in solving everyday tech challenges. Rich loves his work, saying, quote, "What motivates me is knowing that behind every technology question is a person trying to accomplish something important." Hello, Rich.
Hi, Denise. Thanks for having me.
Oh, you're so welcome. First of all, let me say that I was really impressed by what you said, and that was, what motivates me is knowing that behind every technology question is a person trying to accomplish something important to them. It's reassuring to me and refreshing, too, that you view technology in terms of it being a tool to help humans accomplish things that they find important. In fact, you said that every tech question has a human story.
Yes.
Can we start by you talking about that a little bit?
First of all, a digital navigator is like a community health worker for technology. And the digital navigation program is provided by the United Way of the Franklin and Hampshire region, and it's funded by a grant from the Massachusetts Community Health and Healthy Aging Funds. I think that one of the things that's come up, and there's a lot of things that have come up, it's applying for jobs, trying to declutter your phone, dealing with annoying pop-ups, managing storage, managing email. But some of the ones that are most meaningful or that reveal something about the world that we live in is a lot of the things that people have to navigate, including older adults and especially older adults, are things that are absolutely essential. I've had a few people come to me and they've been either locked out or they don't know how to get into the Social Security portal.
Oh.
And I'm really limited in exactly how much I can help them because of the sensitive information.
Sure.
But showing them what the process is like and just reducing the anxiety of something that already creates a lot of anxiety.
Exactly.
So I've had one of the first people that this was almost a year ago now, but it's come up a few times since then. She came to me and she had gotten a notice that she needed to sign up for Medicare. And she didn't really know exactly how she was going to do it.
Right.
And she called to try to get some help. Sort of the more old-fashioned way of trying to navigate that problem is you call and they're like, no, you need to go onto the portal. So I helped her with that, and she's like, well, I still actually want to call, but would you be with me in case there's some sort of email that they need to send me? And I said, yeah, absolutely. And, 1 hour turned into 2, and then it was like, okay, well, we need to end the session. And so she tried to call on her own, and she was on hold for about 4 hours.
No way.
Absolutely, yeah.
That's just terrible.
It is really terrible. So I thought, okay, let's go and try to do this the way that they want her to do it. So you have to go through the ID me process or the login.gov, take a picture of your ID and upload it, and then take a selfie. If you think, for me, that would, even for me, actually, that's a involved process. But for someone who doesn't have comfort with their phone or doesn't even have a phone, that creates a lot of problems.
Absolutely. I mean, people are talking about that. Is it really fair to ask someone who may not really know how to use all of these devices to have to do that? Even setting up an account, it makes you feel like, and I don't know about you, but every time you want to do something now, you have to set up a new account.
Yes.
And I just go, no way am I going to do that. I just don't think it's fair to ask people who really are in the older adult category, ask them to do really important things in a digital way, because not everybody has you around.
Yeah, that's
She's
true.
very lucky she found you.
Thank you. Yeah, it was a pleasure to work with her. And even this past Tuesday, when I was at the Greenfield Senior Center, there was a gentleman that came in, and he came in with his PCA. And they have to log the
Yeah.
PCA hours through an app. She has to have them on her phone, and he has to be able to do it on either his phone or his computer. He's like, I don't know how to do this. But that's the way that he's like, I just want to do it with paper. You can't do it with paper. And so he had to create the account. They had to get an authentication code. He had to pop back and forth between an email and the app. It's just, and he said, and I absolutely agree with him, this is just not fair. And
I agree with that. It's not
just
fair. Did he feel pretty good about it when you were done, or was he still sort of nervous?
I think that reading his body language and also reading his tone of voice, we didn't get all the way through because they still needed to get that authentication code, or they still needed to get that from whatever the company was.
Right.
But his blood pressure, I imagine, went way down because he came in hot. Not at me, not at any, just about the situation.
Sure.
And when he left, he's like, okay, I have a plan. I know what I need to do. I know we've created the password, we've created this, we've written it down. His PCA is there to help him. I sort of pointed him in the right direction. So it wasn't 100% resolved, but he felt a lot more calm when he left.
That's really important. Do you know how, I'm just looking at you going like, do you know how you make people feel after they've left a session with you? I know how I felt. Okay, we'll get into this a little later.
Okay.
But I just felt like there's somebody out there who can help me. It's really good.
Yeah.
All right, so let's just jump into what happens when people meet with you. So how do you start with them? What's your approach?
My first thing that I do is just ask them what their name is, introduce myself. We are humans, and that just by itself can cut the tension a lot, and just let them know, as you had mentioned before, that, people might think, oh, I'm going to meet with a digital navigator, and they're going to think that I'm stupid. And they're not going to want to help me because my grandkids don't want to help me, and they're, and they roll their eyes and whatever. And so I just want them to know, like, hi, I'm here. I'm here to help you. So I ask them how their day is going, and usually they're just like, well, it would be better if I didn't have to deal with this right now. And then I ask them what their goal is, or at least what they're wanting to accomplish for the day, or what it is that they're dealing with. And then we go from there. But it's really about building trust, about building rapport, and sort of trying to take as much anxiety out of the situation as we possibly can, and then move forward to help them achieve whatever goal they've come in.
I have to say, I have never seen you roll your eyes at me when I asked you what I thought was a question that I should already know the answer to.
No, I may roll my eyes at myself a lot, and maybe some of my friends, but not the people that I work with, because
I know. I can tell you really enjoy working with them.
Yeah.
But anyway, let's move on. So there are 4 things you said that we definitely want to cover today for those people who are waiting to find out how they can fix some things before they come in to see you, or at least give it a try on their own before they come in to see you. And I think you said passwords and passkeys and that sort of thing, explaining that and how to manage those, how to recognize scams and what to do about them. Do we really need antivirus software? And how to manage, I bet you get a lot of this, how to manage email and reduce junk email. You mentioned those 4 things that we should talk about today, but are those the things that most people come to you about, or are there any other things?
Well, there's lots of things that people come with, but I think the storage management in addition to that, but password management, storage management, email management, and just basic know-how things. When I first started trying to explain, okay, this is how you get to your settings on your iPhone. And then if you think about it, when I started thinking about it, if I was going to write instructions, and so I did the thought practice, and I did start writing instructions for someone, and I was like, this is not actually it's intuitive for me because I do it. But if you think, okay, what you need to do is you need to swipe about halfway down on the right side of your phone to access the menu, which is your quick settings.
And they're lost already.
Exactly. And swipe, if you need to get all your windows, you need to swipe from the very edge of the bottom of your screen about 3/4 of the way up, but not all the way up, because that's a different setting. So those little things, the sort of finesse that myself and my friends and people who are younger than me know how to do. It's sort of natural to us, but it's not a natural thing for someone who's not. We call them digital natives.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know. I have to just say something. I remember I was asking you something, and I said, you need to write it down, and you started to use a pen and write down the instructions, and I saw you look up at me and say, this is not as easy to write as I thought it was going to be. So, but I'm really glad that you do that, because then somebody can go back and follow it, which is what I did with the instructions that you wrote for me. Okay, so let's just talk about those things. Why don't we start with passwords?
Yes.
And you have something here. I really loved it. It's a nice little flyer. It's something on paper.
Yes, it is.
Password, passkey, multi-factor authentication, because apparently a lot of people come in and they want to see this, and you give them this to take it home. So let's talk a little bit about passwords, what people want to know.
Well, the first is there's confusion, naturally, a confusion about the difference between what a password is, what a passkey is, and what multi-factor authentication or two-factor authentication is. And those are a few different ways that you can manage your digital life with all of the passwords that we absolutely have to have. And older adults are not alone in being annoyed with the number of passwords and accounts that we have to have and the number of text message that we have to have. Not alone at all.
Good to know.
Yes. I'm annoyed by it.
Yes, and I want to say I would like to keep this. I don't want this to become an ageist thing.
No.
We have to really start defeating that. I hear so many friends saying, I don't know anything about technology. I don't know how to do this. And I want to say, okay, let's learn it.
Yeah.
And then let's not say that anymore.
Yes,
okay.
Absolutely.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but that just drives me nuts.
No, there's a lot of the idea of stigma around it is part of my job, is reducing that. So just going over the three different main ways of managing passwords, because it all comes down to managing passwords. A password is a secret word or a phrase that you create to prove that it's really you when you're signing into an account. So most of us know that. So the analogy, and I work a lot with analogies.
Okay.
That is also something that I've learned in my time, is use analogies, and I'm glad that over the years I just love using analogies even in my personal life. So think of a password as like a house key. So if someone gets a copy of that key, then they can also unlock the door. So it's secure only as much as the key can't be copied. So a lot of people ask, like, how do I manage my passwords and keep track of them? Writing them down is good, but you have to make sure that where you write them down is secure. I teach a whole class about passwords, but a few things that I do recommend is to create a passphrase that you can remember. So I think about my two cats, and I have Dobby and Lilly. So I could use...
you're not going to tell us your password,
No,
are
I'm
you?
not going to. But I could use the phrase, Dobby and Lilly are awesome. And that could be... So that by itself, I'm not going to count the characters in my head, but that's more than 12.
Yeah.
And even if you wanted to shorten that down, then you could say D-A-L-A... A.
Yeah.
But then you can also...
I see, the first letter.
Yeah. And then you could do D, and then the @ sign.
Right.
L, and then the @ sign. So it's not the strongest password, but you can do some substitutions.
But it's also something that you could remember more easily.
Yeah.
I like that. I'll have to try that the next time I have to, and I'm sure it'll happen tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
And I was doing some research too. Even shortening it isn't necessarily more secure, even with the substitutions. If you just come up with a passphrase like Dobby and Lilly are awesome and add an exclamation and a number after it, because there's so many characters, I had AI do the math for me, and it was something like the chance of you being able to guess that password is something like 1 in a trillion, because there's so many different
letters.
Yeah, exactly.
That's fascinating. You're making me almost, you know what's really nice about that? You can kind of make it like a game rather than like a headache. Like, oh, I've got to come up with another password.
Yeah.
Oh, I know. This is a cool phrase. I'll use that. Okay.
Yeah. And then a passkey. So a passkey is a newer and more secure way to sign in that uses your device, whether it's your passcode that you type into your phone.
Wait. Passcode.
Passcode meaning like the number that you type, the PIN that you type in on your phone to open it.
Let me just add, I know what a passcode is, but I'm just asking in case
No,
some listeners don't.
That is a good practice to do. And so you can also, if you programmed your face it reads your face, or if you programmed in your fingerprint, then that allows you to get in to manage your passwords. So there is a question that comes up a lot about programming in your face or your fingerprint, and I did some research on that as well. It doesn't go into some grand database that people can have access to. It is actually specific to your phone. It's only your fingerprint or your Face ID is only stored on your phone.
Can we believe that?
Well, we can believe it in as much as the research that I've done, and healthy skepticism is always encouraged, even among myself. But that's, it's supposed to only be on your phone. Okay. So you're essentially using something that you've already set up on your phone to tell your phone that it's okay, your phone or whatever device you have, because some computers you can, you have a PIN or you have your fingerprint programmed in. You're telling your device that it is okay to fill your password for you. And that's what a passkey is.
Right.
So it's like, going back to the key analogy to your house, it's like a smart lock that only works when you specifically are standing at the correct door and you can prove that it's really you to open it.
Got it. I had no idea.
There you go. And then multi-factor authentication, which so many people are annoyed with, including myself.
Yeah.
But it's hard to have it both ways, where you are either secure or you're secure and you're annoyed, or you're unsecure and you're less annoyed, I guess.
No.
So as annoying as all of these things are, they keep us more secure. So multi-factor authentication is an extra security step that requires 2 or more ways to prove that it's you, like a password plus a code that's sent to your phone or to your email.
Yeah.
So you put it in, you put in your password, you put in your username, and then it says, we need to text you a code.
Right.
Another piece of advice is, whenever something online is asking you to put a phone number, make sure that it is a textable phone number. Don't use your landline unless it specifically tells you to. And also, if you have put your landline, I'm not going to be able to help you with your multi-factor authentication because I can't come to your home, unfortunately.
Okay.
So multi-factor authentication, that's pretty annoying, but it's another way to keep you more secure. So going, again, back to the key in the house analogy, a multi-factor authentication is like a house that has both a key and a deadbolt.
Yes, I read that. That was very understandable.
Yep. So if someone steals your key, or if they have a copy of your key, they still need to have another key or another way to get into your house.
So would you recommend that folks, this is what I do, I get to that point and then it says, we're going to be sending a code. And I'm like, oh man, no, I've got to go get my phone. I'm not one of those people who keeps the phone in my pocket, because a lot of my clothes don't have pockets. And I just don't want to keep it near me all the time. So now I've got to run and get that. So I can see, like, using that example of that nice man who came in to see you, how he's thinking, oh, I've got to do this. Now I've got to go get my phone. Now I've got to get to the right thing. Now, and keep in mind, one thing we don't talk about is, especially with older adults, there are vision issues. Now I've got to read this. Oh, I hope I get this right. What if I put the number in wrong? I mean, so much anxiety goes along with that.
Right. Yeah, and I think that, so another part of coaching people is, so a lot of people come and it's like, I'm just afraid to mess something up.
Yes, exactly.
So in my experience, yes, you can mess something up, but not catastrophically. I think that some of the only times where we've really had to use caution in terms of really messing something up is when you're dealing with something like the Social Security Administration, because they really do limit the number of attempts that you can do.
Oh, okay.
And then it will lock you out and you have to wait. But by and large, if you mess something up, it's not going to be catastrophic. So take a breath.
I know, I was going to say, you always think it will be. But okay, that's really good to hear. Okay, so, we were going to talk about recognizing scams, but I want to do something else first. I just want you to tell us something, well, you told me this, about the antivirus software.
Yes, I'm on somewhat of a personal crusade to make sure that people know that things like McAfee and Avast and Norton are one step shy of being a scam. So, yes, if
Was
you're...
that a dramatic? Did I do that
That
dramatically
was
enough?
beautifully dramatic. As someone who has a degree in theater, I appreciate that very, very much. So if you are, first of all, if you're listening to this and you're paying for McAfee or Norton or any of those other antivirus softwares, and you're already running Windows 11 and you're keeping your computer up to date, then you don't need that software. You don't need it. It is actively slowing your computer down because it's running all of these things in the background. And Windows 11 has Windows security that does it for free and does it better. It's already built into the system. So what McAfee and Norton and all of them have done, there was a time in the past where earlier in the days of computers, I remember having Norton on our probably second computer that we had is when I was...
Don't say it.
When I was a little boy.
Don't say it. He's so young.
And... I wish I was younger, but
He's
that's
really
okay.
not young.
It's okay.
I just
it's okay.
said that to
Thank
make
you.
him
Thank
feel
you. I
good.
have gray in my beard. It's all right.
You do.
They rely on the time. They rely on the sort of brand recognition of the times when we actually did need that software. But now we don't need it on the computer. If you're keeping your computer regularly updated, then they're basically charging you to do something that your computer will already do for free.
I have a question.
Yes.
I'm one of the people who has it.
Mm-hmm.
How do I stop it?
So the first thing is you want to cancel your subscription. You probably need to have a username and password to log into your account.
No problem. I can do that.
There you go. So you want to go in, you want to cancel your auto renewal. That's the first step. You need to cancel that account so they don't keep charging you even when you when you take it off of your computer. Then there's it would get a little nitty gritty. If you know how, then you can go into the apps of your computer and then you can uninstall it from there. If you have McAfee specifically, if you Google McAfee remover tool, then it will bring you to a page and you can download their specific removal tool and it gets rid of everything McAfee on your computer. It is safe to download, just making sure that it's coming from the McAfee website. I think it's called the MCPR tool. I could be wrong with that words, but
I think we're in the weeds now.
Yeah, exactly. So
you know what I would do?
Yeah.
I would call you and say, can I have a meeting with you and we
Yeah.
can do this together?
Yeah.
Oh, you're going to have so many people calling.
It takes like 10 minutes. And by the way, as far as Apple goes, Apple has very robust security. It's not virus proof, but it's significantly less susceptible. So if you have Norton or McAfee or any of those things on an Apple, absolutely get rid of it. I mean, you really don't need it. The only time that you might actually need McAfee or Norton, and it might be worth paying for, is if you cannot update to Windows 11 and you're still running a prior version of Windows.
Got it.
Because it's not getting the security updates. And the key here is to make sure that your computer is updated because it's always giving you those patches to update the security settings.
Wow, this was really helpful. Thank you. Alex, is it okay if we go for like 3 hours? He's saying yeah.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, we have so much to talk about. Well, let's do this. Should we talk about recognizing scams and what to do about them, or should we talk about email? What will be most helpful for people listening? Because then they'll know that they can always be in touch with you. I don't know, scams are kind of scary, but that example I gave in the beginning is why I came to you, remember?
Yes. Well, scams is actually pretty easy. I mean, I do have a small course on scams where I go through sort of a deep dive into the different types of scams. But the rule of thumb, and tell this to your friends now that you've heard it from me, scams try to scare you, rush you, or tempt you.
Right.
So if something comes up and it is trying to scare you, your computer has been infected and you have to call this number right away. That's scare and rush. There's, your UPS, you got a shipment that you're not expecting from UPS, and you need to call a number or put in some information to get it delivered. That's a little bit of tempting. It's sort of a version of like, it's tempting you to try to fix a problem that doesn't actually exist. So keep in mind, if something tries to scare you, rush you, or tempt you, it is very likely a scam. And if something pops up on your computer like it does with yours, and then the scarier scenarios, if it pops up and it tells you you immediately need to call a customer service number, don't call the customer service number. Don't do it.
I think we'll do one. We'll talk about scams again, maybe more in depth, because it does really scare the heck out of people when it happens.
Yep.
Email.
Yes. So I actually teach like a 2-hour course. I've taught it here at GCC about email and computer, and it's email maintenance, computer maintenance, and Gmail maintenance. So if you're using Gmail, they make it pretty easy for you to manage. And even if you're not using Gmail, the different servers do kind of replicate the same types of things. So the first thing is look for that unsubscribe button. Gmail, for most emails, right at the top of an email when you open it, there's a blue text that says unsubscribe. You can click that button. That's sort of the first step. Now, that works about 50% of the time. It's not always foolproof. If you don't see an unsubscribe button at the top, scroll down to the bottom of the email, and usually in itty-bitty little print, it also says unsubscribe, and you can do it that way. That is a good start. But also you can, we're getting a little into the weeds, but if you're in Gmail, in the upper right-hand corner within the email, there's 3 dots. If you click those, then you see that menu right there, and there's one that says block, and there's one that says report as spam. Usually if you click report as spam, it will also say, do you want to block this sender? So if you know that you never want to receive an email from one particular sender, usually something that's spammy, then you can just block it, and that will keep them from sending you emails in the future. Forever. Unless there is a possibility that they can, because there's like no reply at whatevercompany.com, info at, so it could be the same company sending from multiple different types of emails. But once you sort of do the whack-a-mole with that, then you can get rid of that.
Wait, I just have to say, I don't really think that's nice for moles.
No, it's not very nice for moles. So like whack-a-virus.
Okay, I like that better. Are these the topics that people mostly ask you about?
Yes, absolutely.
Do you want to just talk about, as we move on, I know there's so much to talk about, maybe what we can do when we hear from people, because people will be in touch with us and say, I want to know more about scams. Maybe we can do something that's a little more...
deep dive.
Yeah.
Podcasts are all about deep dives.
Okay. Are you ready for the deep dive, Alex? Would you just do one thing for me? Would you talk about how maybe you have a laptop that might be one kind of laptop, and you might have a phone that's not made by the same manufacturer, and so you can't do a lot of things because they don't like each other?
Yeah. Denise, it sounds like you're speaking from experience here.
And people had told me about that before, and I'm like, no, that can't be true. 2 big manufacturers wouldn't be that way with each other. And then I'm like, oh, gosh, Denise, where have you been?
This is America, Denise.
Go ahead, tell them what my problem was.
All right. So Denise is trying to manage her photos and trying to get the photos off of her iCloud. So a cloud, by the way, is basically like a virtual filing cabinet where you get to keep all of your stuff. So if you happen to lose your phone or your computer, then your stuff is backed up and you're able to retrieve it. Okay. So Denise is trying to get some photos off of her iCloud, so her cloud storage with Apple, where she has everything stored, so pictures that she had on her phone, and she wanted to download them from the cloud onto her Windows computer. So there is a way, though it's a little bit clunky, that you can download the photo app on Windows.
But we should be clear. So my phone is an iPhone, an Apple product, and my laptop is not.
Windows. So they do, especially if you have a much newer computer, it becomes a little bit easier, but you basically have to download the Windows version of an Apple program, but it's not always foolproof. So usually if you're working with the same within the same ecosystem, so I, in my personal life, I have an iPhone, I have an iPad, and I have a Mac computer. So when I take a phone or take a picture on my phone and then I open up my computer, usually within a few seconds in my Photos app on my computer, that has shown up. And then the same thing on my iPad. Everything talks to each other because it's in the same ecosystem. But when you have a Windows device that's speaking to an Apple device, you have to do some workarounds, and as you experienced, it can be quite clunky.
Yes. So we won't talk about how you actually do that, because that's where you started writing instructions and looked up and said, this
is not
isn't
the best
easy
way
to
to do this. Yeah.
But I just wanted people to be aware of that, because if they're like, how do I do this? It could be because you have two different types.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
We could go on forever, but we don't have enough time. Can you tell me or tell all of us some of the things that you've helped folks with recently? Like, why did they come in and what did you help them do?
Yes. Well, this week, actually, so we're here on a Thursday, and this week has actually been a very jobs-heavy week.
What do you mean?
I have had 2 different people come to me this week, both on Tuesday and Wednesday, when I was doing drop-in time at the Gil Montague Senior Center for Tech Tuesday. So there's myself and there's 2 other graduates from the Franklin County Technical School that do this every single Tuesday at Gil Montague Senior Center from 12:30 to 2. Little plug for them.
That's good.
And a lovely lady came to me, and she had been out of the workforce for a while, and she called me the day before, and she said, well, I heard about LinkedIn, and I do have a LinkedIn profile, but there's nothing on it, and I don't know what I'm supposed to do it. So LinkedIn is basically, I don't think it's owned by Facebook, but it's basically like Facebook for work. So you can build out your profile, you can put your work experience, you can upload your resume, you can network on there. So she came to me, and she's like, well, how do I build this out? Oh. And I also only have my phone. I'm doing it.
Dear.
Yeah, right. So I have the app on my phone, but it can be a bit clunky when you're building out a whole profile. So I was able to use my computer. So I use DuckDuckGo, and that when I'm dealing with other people's stuff, that's a browser that is really secure. And at the end, it has a really handy dandy button that you can just push, and it makes flames on the screen.
Everything's gone.
And it automatically gets rid of everything that we just did. We weren't really dealing with super sensitive information with her, but I do like to be extra careful if we're dealing with other people's things.
Good.
So she came to me, and she did know what we had to reset her LinkedIn password because she couldn't remember it, and that's totally fine. And then we got her into her account, and she had her resume with her, but she didn't have a digital copy of her resume. So I was able to take a picture of her resume and just got rid of any recommended stuff that she didn't want publicly available. And then I was able to actually use AI to replicate it, so to create a digital copy of her resume that she would be able to edit in the future. And because she does have a desktop computer at home, it's a bit clunky, but I gave her a copy of that. So we made a PDF, a portable document file, and an editable document of her resume that we were able to upload to LinkedIn so it could read it, and then it sort of pre-filled her experience for her. And then because we had the text of it that AI so kindly provided, it can't be kind. It's not real.
I mean, it's not, thank you for saying that.
It's not human. It's not real. It can't feel.
No emotions.
No emotions. So we were able to pull the text and just easily fill out her profile. So by the time I think we spent about an hour and a half together. By the time we had finished our session together, she had a fully built out LinkedIn profile that then she could easily manage and add to after that.
That's really great.
Yeah. And then yesterday I had someone visit me at the S. White Dickinson Memorial Library in Whately, and I go there once a month, the third Thursday of every month. And another lovely lady that I've worked with a few times, I met both of these lovely ladies through Mass Hire. They were referred to me through Mass Hire because I also go every other Monday to Mass Hire.
All right, Rich.
I know, sorry.
Come on, go on.
Yes. So she needed help applying for a job. So she she was doing it on her phone, but she really wanted to do it on her phone. So we did something similar with her resume, so she could upload the resume via her phone, and it could read it and pre-fill some stuff. But again, it's like you have to create a username and a password, and I mean, I hated applying for jobs. Like it's really not a fun process.
No.
But when you're not a digital native, it's
you're more nervous
less
about
fun.
it.
Yeah. So she just kept saying like, "Man alive, this is ridiculous," and I was like, it really is ridiculous. So this week, so there's a lot of job heavy stuff. So workforce development is also a big part. There's older adults that want to re-enter the workforce, whether it's full time or part time, and we were able to at least get her to, she at least applied for one job, but she got used to doing that process. And she
That's
also signed up
great.
for a virtual job fair.
I love it. That's great. She's going to be back to see you, which brings up a question. You've talked about 2 women. Do men come to you with questions?
Yeah,
and are
absolutely.
there things different? Are they looking for different kinds of help?
It's men absolutely do come for me. It's by and large significantly less. I don't exactly know why that is.
Could it have anything to do with men not usually wanting to ask for help?
For help. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm the same way. So it's significantly less, but they do come with the same issues.
Okay,
yeah,
that's great.
Yeah.
Let's see. Oh, you gave me a fun fact once, and we are winding down now, but
Yeah.
I do want to do another session with you.
Yeah, happy to.
You did say something about Bluetooth because
Yes.
somebody asked you about it.
Yes.
Okay.
You
Tell
over-
us.
yeah, and you
okay,
over-
you're gonna
overheard the
like
library.
this, Alex.
I love this story. So I'm a big history nerd, and especially British history. So I listened to a bunch of podcasts about it, and this lovely story came up. So Bluetooth, it has that little symbol.
Yeah.
So that little symbol isn't by accident. That's actually an ancient Nordic rune that literally means Bluetooth. So where that came from, the inventor of Bluetooth also, I don't know if he was a British history buff or a Viking history buff, they sort of overlap, but he had read, so the legend says that there was a Viking leader called Harold Bluetooth, and the legend says that he had blue teeth because he liked to eat blueberries.
That must be it.
It must be it, absolutely. So Harold Bluetooth invaded England with a bunch of Viking clans, and he didn't want to form one big Viking clan that were all the same, under say like the Vikings of Harold Bluetooth.
Okay.
They were all unique and separate. So he brought them all together in a common purpose. So they were connected but not the same.
Kind of like the United States of America.
Yeah, there you go.
Gotcha.
It's just fresh out of 4th of July here.
Yeah.
So doing that, he brought them all together in a common purpose, doing the same thing, but not all the same.
Mm-hmm.
So when the inventor of Bluetooth had that story in his mind,
Got it.
It is a way to bring devices together without being directly connected, meaning via a wire. So they're remotely connecting. They're sort of connecting through the air. So you can have a table worth of devices that are not plugged into each other, but they're all working together. Like Harold Bluetooth and his Viking clan. So this ancient story, this ancient Viking and this ancient Nordic rune is being used in a very modern setting.
I bet Harold Bluetooth is just up there or down there
Yes,
looking at
yes.
us going, who would have thought?
In Valhalla, his teeth are rattling.
I love it. That's great. Okay. You said you like to talk about what happens when you help nearly 1,000 older adults with technology. Did you mean what happens to you or what happens? Quickly on this one.
So for this, I would say I've learned so much. I mean, so I work primarily and pretty much exclusively in Franklin County because I am Franklin County's digital navigator, and I've been called Franklin County's grandson, which is one of my favorite
that's
monikers.
nice.
Yeah, it's very sweet. Everyone is just very sweet and grateful. I don't think that I've ever had a time where someone hasn't been just really kind and grateful, and that's very fulfilling. And I come from corporate retail and corporate retail management, and my job was most of the time to get yelled at and to deliver bad news and fire people. The other thing is that I have an immense amount of patience, and I didn't realize how much patience I had. And this isn't, I'm not knocking anything, but people say, oh, you must have so much patience. And instead of in the beginning, I'd be like, oh, really? I'm not really that patient. And I just say, yes, I am. And that is not to say like, oh, yeah, gosh, I am. Oh. It's like, no,
You are.
It has given me an immense amount of patience. I've also learned that I really need to stretch a lot. I need
you mean like sitting up straighter?
Yes, I need
like
to
right
sit up.
now?
Yes, exactly. And make sure that I'm taking the time to do my next stretches. And also that it makes these little things to me and these little things that might be little to my friends and I, not that I don't have older adult friends. But
I bet you have 1,000 of
I
them
do.
by
I do
now.
have a lot now. Another thing that I've learned is these things that might be simple for people of my age or younger just aren't that intuitive. And you do, speaking and continuing on patience, is that you can't just assume that things are simple. You really need to take the time to explain it in a way that people can understand and slow down, and also have humility.
Oh, I like that.
When you're approaching people. And really, and just back to when you were introducing me, this isn't just about technology. This is about helping people. My sort of MO for going into the nonprofit world is that I wanted to help, to heal, and to inspire. And that was my starting point when I started looking for jobs.
Wow.
And so this really aligns with that work. It makes such a difference to me that I get to help people complete these tasks that should be simpler, but are just not simple. And when they leave and they have this lightness about them and this confidence, and they feel empowered to try things on their own, that is just it's a beautiful thing.
You must feel so good about that.
Yeah, it's very, very rewarding.
You know, I was going to ask you why this work is so important to you, but you've just answered that question. Yeah. And I want to say, we do have to, I think we have to end now, but I want listeners to know that after I've seen you twice, I think maybe 3 times now, and when I left, I felt lighter.
Good.
I'm glad you did, but I felt lighter. I thought, I get it. I get some of this, but I also felt like there's somebody out there who can help me and is not going to think that I couldn't have done it on my own.
No.
Who wants me to learn how to do it on my own.
Yes.
And does it with, this is sort of, we're going to cry maybe, who does it with kindness. You're a very kind person.
Thank you very much.
I really like.
So are you, Denise.
Oh, well, thank you. Let's go out and solve some problems together or do something.
Yes.
Would you come back?
I would love to come back.
I would too. Maybe listeners will let us know what they would like to hear you talk about,
please.
and we will we'll put together another session. So before we say goodbye, would you like to let people know where they might find you? Now, listen, he's in a million different places.
I'm in a lot of places, yeah.
How about just like maybe the top 3?
Yeah. So on a weekly basis, I mentioned I'm at the Gil Montague Senior Center. That's at 62 5th Street in Turners Falls. I'm there every Tuesday from 12:30 to 2. And like I said, there are also 2 other students there. So or they're graduates now, and they're wonderful. And you can go there. So even if you can't see me, there are 2 other people there that can help you.
That's really good.
Yes. And I'm at the Greenfield Public Library every Thursday from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. And that is first come, first serve. The same thing with Gil Montague Senior Center, but there's just me at the Greenfield Public Library. So if you go to the second floor, at the top there's a desk, and there's a sign-in sheet, and I go in order. I have to split my time equally for the number of people. Some people take about 5 minutes. Some people take longer. So for the number of people there, I split my time equally. We have a private room that we can go into, or that I've actually scheduled, so it's a nice private space. And so I'm there every Thursday from 1 to 3. And
on Wednesday, August 5th, from 2 to 4, you're going to be at the Tilton Library in South Deerfield.
Yes, I will be.
Do you think you'll be doing that more? Is that going to be every Wednesday or just one Wednesday?
That's probably going to be once a month. They're going through some renovations right now.
Oh, yeah, they are.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
No.
One more thing.
Okay.
What would you like listeners to take away from this? Really, what do you want people to know?
Well, I hope listeners come away from listening to this realizing that technology isn't something that's just for tech people. I said somewhere in here already that I'm not an IT person. I have a degree in theater performance. That it's just by virtue of growing up with technology that I know how to do this, and I know where to look for the right answers. And because of my career and training and retail and that kind of stuff, and in real estate, I needed to know how to use these systems. So you don't have to know everything to use technology confidently. The goal here isn't to become an IT expert. It's just to learn enough to use technology as a tool to accomplish the things that matter the most to you.
Right.
And every technology question is really just about helping someone reach a personal goal. So I'm not going to tell you how to feel, but you don't have to feel intimidated. You can go in. One little thing that you learn that helps you do something in your life will open the doors for you to be able to do hundreds of other things just because you've reduced the anxiety. And and for me to look at you and say, you can do it. You really can.
Okay, I really like how you said that. I feel like I can do it.
You can, Denise. You can do it.
Okay, let's get out of here before
All
it
right.
gets weird.
I know, right?
Okay. Bye.
Bye.
This concludes today's podcast. We're always looking for new ideas, so feel free to reach out to Judy Raper, Associate Dean of Community Engagement at Greenfield Community College at 413-775-1819 if you have an idea you'd love to share. Special thanks to the creators of Backyard OASIS, Denise Schwartz, Chad Fuller, Dennis Lee, and Christine Copeland. Have a great day.